All right, what up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about getting your money mindset right. And there's a lot to say about your money mindset. One, a lot of us have a consumer mindset. We need to go into an owner's mindset, an investor's mindset. But that's not particularly what we're talking about today. Today we're going to talk about the battle of should I save or should I simply earn more? A lot of people spend their focus on getting bargains and saving dollars and catching a deal whenever they can. And I'm not saying that's poor behavior. I'm just saying for all of your focus to be there is wasted thought energy. I genuinely think you need to talk about earning more. Now, again, I want to emphasize, I've been going through the Law of Success series. Napoleon Hill in that series specifically talks about saving your money. I also think he talks about putting money aside from all the money you get to save and to invest. But he talks about saving. It is important to live below your means. However, when your focus is on simply living more below your means and you have a cap, the amount of money you can have extra is always capped. For example, if you are living off $4,000 a month and you're making $4,000 a month and you're like, I need to start living below my means, you cut out $500 in expenses. Now you're at $3,500. You have $500 extra. You get a little stingy, you're like, I can cut out $300 more in expenses. Now you're at $800 extra. And then you get a significant other, you start living with them. Your rent bumps down from like you paying all $1,200 to you paying theoretically $600. Your income goes up a little bit. So now you've created more of a gap. However, the cap is the cap. You can never have an excess amount of money that exceeds the cap. So if you're making $6,000 a month, now that you have your spouse, and you now have an excess of, let's call it $3,000 a month, because you've gotten a little stingier and you've gotten a whole nother income. So now you have an excess of $3,000 a month. That excess that you can save and invest will never go above $6,000 because you don't make above $6,000. So all of your energy spent on saving dollars, you may get $100 more. Now you're at $2,900 in living expenses, $3,100 extra. You may get $2,800 in living expenses, $3,200 extra. You may increase it marginally, but you will never blow the roof off of your income, which means you'll never blow the roof off of your life and walk toward your dream life without earning more, which is why I think I'll discuss the tactics for this a little later. I'm not going to get into that right now, but I think the focus should shift from saving dollars and catching bargains to, yes, I'm going to live below my means, but I'm focused on earning more. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. But first, where it showed up in my life. Today at the car shop. Man, I was at the car shop, and you know how the dealerships go. I took my Nissan to the Nissan dealership. I needed to get an inspection. Somebody busted my taillight for some strange reason. And I couldn't pass inspection with a busted taillight, so they had to fix my taillight. While I was there, I was like, might as well get my oil changed because I haven't got my oil changed yet, and the tires should probably be rotated. Well, then they came up with a whole list of things. In fact, let me go through them. And here's the thing about being, how can I say this? Ignorant when it comes to cars. Like, that's just it. I don't know what is important and what is not. So I'm going to go through all the stuff that they added, right? They added all this stuff. They added so replace the taillight. That was one thing. The regular maintenance services, which was the inspection, rotate my tires, and then get the basic package, replace my oil and filter conventional oil. After that, they had two critical things. My rear brakes are at a low 3 mm, whatever that means. I'm not sure. I could have Googled it, but honestly, it gave me a headache. Why? Because of my money mindset, which is why we're talking about this. My rear brakes needed to be redone. My battery capacity, it failed a battery capacity test, whatever that is. And so they had to replace my battery. So now I got to get my rear brakes done, battery capacity. That's another 300, and then another 184 right there. So that's $484. Initially, I was going to spend 89, and now I'm at over 500. Then they was like, while you're here, items requiring your attention: brake fluid, your coolant, your drive belts, your front shocks, which is a whopping $1,092, your power steering fluid, and then additional service requests. We can basically clean the outside and inside of your car to get rid of like stuff around coronavirus. And then all of that came out to, they also were like, we can do your alignment and replace your spark plugs. replace the PCV valve and hose, and all of that came out to $3,066. And I was stressed. I won't cap. I only ended up doing the absolutely urgent things, which made that bill go from 3,000 to 900 because I was worried about saving dollars. And that's where it showed up in my life today. I failed at the mindset I'm about to tell you, you guys should have. I'm telling you this because honestly, on this podcast, I'm very early in my growth stage. So the advice I have to give to people is more what I've learned rather than what I have implemented. And I've learned it mainly from books as I'm implementing it. So really, we're growing together. Like you guys are hearing my journey about my way to my dream life. So take it to what you be. This is the information I'm following because it came from people that I trust. That was a variation of the Alex Hormozy quote. I'm a big fan of Alex Hormozy right now. He talks about just tell people this is what works for me, and they can't give you crap about it. Because if this is what works for you, they can't challenge what works for you. They can only challenge what will work for them. And so, again, this is information I'm listening to because it came from people I trust. I think you should not focus a bunch on saving dollars. You should focus more on increasing income, stabilizing your business, your personal spending. Get super clear on the number, and as you increase your income, keep your personal spending at that level and just invest and save all the excess, right? So I told you about how I failed at the car shop today. I got stressed. I took the budget route as opposed to the quality route of, if I just paid the $3,000, I wouldn't have to worry about any of that stuff in the future. But now I have to worry about some of that stuff in the future. And there's something to be said about a scam, about them really doing stuff that doesn't need to be done, et cetera, all that stuff. Like especially the clean the inside and outside of your car for COVID. That was just pure. They wanted an extra $25. But the point still stands. If I was making $1 million per year, I would have paid the $3,000. I wouldn't have even thought about it. Instead, I'm making $60,000 a year, and I'm like, wow, $3,000 is like 5% of my income. That's a lot of money. So it caused me pause. It caused me to decrease. And now, what if something happens to my car because I didn't get those things done? I'm not really worried about that, but it could happen, right? Something could happen to my car because I got things done too. But we ain't gonna talk about that. So at the car shop today, I failed. And here's where I want it to show up in my life. Showed up in my life at the car shop, I failed. This is how I want to succeed. I've stabilized my spending around $2,500 a month. The rest is business expenses. When it goes over that, honestly, I might have stabilized at less than that. I really don't spend a lot of money. I try to save all my money for paying my VA, pouring into the podcast, marketing stuff for the business and whatnot. So I've stabilized around $2,500 a month in living expenses. I want to separate my business and personal spending. Right now it happens all from my personal business account. I want to get an LLC, get a business bank account, but I need to have the cash flow coming in to justify that. Like when you have no money coming in, don't spend $500 on an LLC and a bank account to put $1,000 in there to get bleeded dry. It's happened to me before. I don't want to do it again. So right now I have a huge revenue focus on my life. As soon as that revenue starts pouring in, I can separate my business and personal spending with the LLC. Then I want to get super clear on that number. I've stabilized around 2,500, but I think I may have done less. And if I have done more, I need to know. After I get super clear on that number, you hold it consistent. As my business scales, I will take income from it, but my $2,500 a month, it's going to stay right there. And one day I'm going to be making $10,000 a month. The next couple months, I'll be making $20,000 a month. Next couple months, I'll be making $50,000 a month. And even when I'm making $50,000 a month, I want to be living off of $2,500 a month, investing all that excess back into real estate, back into business, back into real estate, back into business until my cash flow for me doing absolutely nothing exceeds that 2,500, like at an extreme level. And at that point, maybe I'll raise it to 3,500, 4,500, 5,500, 10,000, 20,000. As long as I can invest 50% of my income, that's my goal. And then I want to give away a big portion of my income. So I'll always live on like probably somewhere around 10%, 20% of my income. If I can do that, like I'll be living a good life. And that's how I think you guys should apply it to your life. Get clear on the number you need to live for your personal living expenses, stabilize that number, and then focus on how you're going to increase your income, whether that's sales or starting a business. Those are pretty much the only two ways. Provide service to somebody, add value to somebody's life, and get money in exchange for it. Increase that income. Hold your living expenses consistent. As you scale your income, hold it consistent, invest all the excess. So get to the point where you are living off of 2,500 and making 10,000, and then you invest 7,500 a month. If you invest 7,500 a month, after 10 months, that would be 75 grand. And 2 months after that, it'll be 90 grand. I need to do math in my head, so I had to break it up like that. So you who have invested 90 grand a year, if you're making 10,000, living off 2,500, investing $90,000 a year, not that first 90,000, just put it in the SPY, you'll make $9,000 that next year. And then you invest another 90,000, you'll make $18,000 that next year. You invest another 90,000, you'll make $27,000 that next year. Plus, if I didn't really add the 9,000 and 18,000, so you'll make a little more than 27. Invest another 90,000, another 90,000, another 90,000. Now you're at the point where you're making $54,000 a year off of passive investments. That's been 6 years. Invest another 90, another 90, another 90, another 90. You're getting to the point where you're making dang near six figures per year just from investing. And that's the power of increasing your income. And this can typically happen 10,000 a month. Guys, that's a pretty like average sales job. Like if you're in a sales job and you take it seriously for a couple of years, you'll be making that easy. So, and if you start a business and you take it seriously, you'll be making a lot more than that. All that time you were increasing your income. So maybe instead of having 7,500 a month to invest, you had 10,000, you had 20,000, and you just keep investing, keep investing, keep investing. And eventually you're going to have 3 million, 5 million in assets. And then once that compounds, it goes to like 100 million. Ask Warren Buffett. He got the majority of his wealth at the end of his life. Time does matter. So increase your income, stabilize your living expenses, invest the excess. That's the game. That's the wealth game. You can literally live the life you want to live sooner than you think, but you have to increase your income, which is typically going to happen in a sales job or being an entrepreneur. But hey, I'm not the one who makes the rules. I'm just communicating what I think will work for me. And because I think it will work for everybody, I'm sharing it with you too. But hey, I'm going off what works for me. Untouchable. So yeah, thank you guys for looking, watching, hearing the podcast today. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and listening. As we always ask, send this to 1 to 3 people you know need to hear this message. Go ahead and give us a 5-star review on iTunes. And don't forget, check out workwithtimmydouglas.com and join the Creative Dealmakers Mastermind, where we are making deals that will change lives and help us take steps towards our dream life. Get around a community of like-minded people. I've made this because it's literally the thing I needed 3 years ago. And I'm telling you guys, I made it to serve. I made it to add value. The money is simply so I can be compensated, and we can pay for coaches and pay salespeople and pay for marketing. And it's literally $40 a month. I kid you not. It is $40 a month. Mastermind programs like this, I don't even know what they go for, but it's a lot more than 40. Can be 10,000. Genius Network, I think people pay 25,000 a year to go to Genius Network. So $40 a month. Obviously, I will sell you higher ticket stuff on the back end because, hey, if I, for $40 a month, take you towards 4,000 a month, towards 10,000 a month, and you pay me $40 a month, and within 3 years you're making 10,000 a month, well, now I'll charge you $10,000 to take you to 100,000 a month, and hopefully I'm at 100,000 a month at that point. So there we go. Let's grow together. Obviously, you can just keep listening to the podcast. You can call me too, because it's what I love to do. So I'm not going to turn you away. Unless you start getting crazy and like texting me at 2 a.m. I will turn you away if you do that. Alrighty. On that note, give us a 5-star review on iTunes. We're out.